Tov b'Shem Hashem Nasev v'Natzliach Be'ezrat Hashem. The learning that we're going to do today may it be in the Zuchut for Am Yisrael, our Chayalim, and the Chatufim, the people that are still held in captivity. A year later, they are still held in captivity. May Hashem release them, may He send them a Yeshua Keheruf Ayin. May our Torah Rabotai be able to protect each and every single Jew in the world that there is. Be'ezrat Hashem. Today we want to speak about Ma'alat HaKovei Makom L'Tifilato. The advantage, the benefits that there are to setting a place when you daven. Not only the place where you daven, but also setting a place in one Beit Knesset that you daven in. A lot of times you have a person in Shacharit, one day he davens over here, one day he davens over there, one day he davens over there. There's no set place. Is it wrong? We'll see what the halakha has to say. But we want to see the advantage of davening in the same place, in the same shul, and we also want to see what the halakha has to say. Before we do start over here, I just want to say a very, very big thank you to Rabbi Aharon Pesen Shlita. These are his books. I had the zuchut to speak to the Rav himself. If anybody wants to see the Rabbi, you can actually visit him on Torah 24-7. He has his own website. You can go ahead and try to get a glimpse of what does it mean, Gadol Batorah. It's not normal the way he gives the shiurim. You know, when he asks a question, he's dealing with a lot of Talmidei Chachamim. Majority of the times he's dealing with Talmidei Chachamim. When he asks a question and they start throwing answers, and he starts quoting what they're saying and trying to disprove them that that's not the answer, that's genius, Rabotai. That's not normal. I spoke to the Rabbi, I spoke to the Rav, and I said, how does the Rav do it? How does the Rav remember every single detail in the Torah? So he said to me, you have people today, they watch basketball, they watch baseball, they watch football, they're able to remember the player's name, his stat, his average, how many rebounds, and so on and so forth. Why? Because they're in love. He says the same thing with Torah. When a person loves Torah, he's going to remember every single detail. What's important to you, you'll never forget. But he says something even more stronger. The Rav explained to me, and he said that when people go and watch the basketball games, the best seats are the front seats. The worst seats are the bleachers. It says, in Shemaim, after 120 years, I want to be in the front seats. So in order to be in the front seats, you have to know the Torah very well. Can you imagine learning with Abaye and Rava, see Chacham Ovadi, Rav Chaim Igal, the Ben Shchai? Can you imagine seeing all the Gedolm Rabotai, the Rif, the Rosh, the Rambam, the Magen Avraham? Can you imagine sitting there and seeing them how they learn and learning with them? Or do you want to be in the bleachers? So that's what he said. He's very excited. He's very motivated to learn Torah, to know it to its fullness, only in order to be able to get the best seats, Be'ezrat Hashem B'Neder, after 120 years of age. The reason why I'm saying this is because I want people to know that we started actually doing weekly pamphlets for Shabbat, and Baruch Hashem, I asked him for permission. He gave me permission for that, to take a chidushim from his sefarim that I bought from him, and to actually print it out. Besides the musar that we do, we also want to incorporate halachot so people can remember it a little bit better. So also these are his books. Also he gave me permission that I can record his books. I just want people to know about with these things, you have to get permission from the author before you go ahead and do these things. In any event, before we start speak about the Ma'alat HaKovei Makom L'Tifilato, the benefit that there is for one who establishes for himself a place where he prays. This past week, many people came up to me. Said, I heard, Rabbi, you're doing this. Are you on this? Are you on this? Where is it going out? Is it on a WhatsApp chat? Is it on YouTube? Where are the lectures? Baruch Hashem, B'lei and Hara, thanks to the help of DJ Abraham, the one who's running the Biyachad chat, thanks to him, we were able, in the past 2 weeks, start 3 classes. One which is called Daled Amot Shel Halacha, Another one is called Even HaEzer. Another one of them is called Halacha for Women. It's only Halacha for women. A lot of times women don't have that opportunity to learn Halacha. There's a sefer that's written by Rav Chaim Igal that was called Otar Danim for women. So I'm using specifically that, and I try not to. I think around 99%. If he doesn't mention it, I don't mention it. I try not to bring men inside the subject. Just try to keep it focused to the woman, so to condense the time, but at the same time, the woman should know the halacha. So a lot of people want to know where it is. So this Erev Shabbat, I did ask DJ Abraham, ask him if he can actually send it to me. He actually did send it to me through WhatsApp. He sent it to me, so I'm going to show you Rabotai. The way Abraham is doing it, I want to really tell him a very, very big thank you. Because I'll just show you over here, he's not only, it's not just, you go, you write down Halacha, and you're not going to know where you're holding. He actually did something which is unbelievable. I don't know how he does it. Again, I'm not computer, I don't know how these things work, but so if we go over here, let me just see if you guys can see from there. If you see over here, it says Rav Chaim Igal Dal Moshe Halacha. Now if we're going to go up, what happened? 1 second. Let's go back. 1 second. Let's do that. I have to get to it. Okay. So once you get Dala Moshe Halacha, now if we're going to go up, you're going to have, this is part 1. Actually, he's the one who actually labels it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically it continues. Everything goes part by part. Whatever siman we start, whatever halacha we start, we mentioned, of course, in the class. So this is called Dalad Amot Shel Halacha. If anybody wants to learn halacha in depth, to not only know halachot, but to understand how they work, it's very, very important, Rabotai, to do it, especially if you're able to do it through the book, which again, I also had to get permission from Rabbi Lior Dahan Shlita to use a sefer, which is this, right? Rabbi Dahan's Mishnah Berurah, this is the work that he put inside this book is enormous. You don't understand, Rabotai, how easy it makes it to be able to find the source and so on and so forth, to be able to teach it in a easy manner. The next series we did start was Even HaEzer. Over here we have Even HaEzer. We started actually from Siman 1, Halacha 1. That's what we start from the beginning. This, you will not hear me say Chacham Avad, Rav Yitzchak. This is straight Shulchan Aruch with Berheitav. I actually do explain it. So you have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. That's for now, part 5. Rabotai, I try to do, again, I have other things to also do. I try to do, from Monday through Thursday, I try to get in lectures, try to get in 3 lectures every single day. Besides that, I have to also prepare Gemara classes. Now, and one more thing I want to just show you. Where did he send it to me? Right over here, let me just see. Okay, right here. Rabotai, this is a halacha for women. Specifically for women, you don't get mixed up, Rabotai. You go for halacha for women on his playlist, the way he did it, and basically you have these halachot, and we go in order, and you can't go wrong by listening to the woman halachot. Now the reason why we started doing this is, one of the things when it comes to Torah, to understand Torah, people don't realize when you're learning Torah, the first time around when you're learning it, you're just trying to get a feel of it. Second time, you're getting a better feel. Third time, you're only getting a better feel. But the fourth time, you're actually understanding what you are learning. Now, why is this important? Because whenever any Talmid Chacham prepares a shiur, it's not like you think he just opens the door, bam, 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 bam. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of work that's placed in. Sometimes it can be hours before he can deliver 20-minute shiur. Or hours before he delivers a 45-minute shiur. And I said to myself, how much of this Torah, that there's a lot of work that goes into this Torah, why not share it via the media with the people? Rabotai, you have to understand. Imagine you saw this lecture, you saw halacha, you want to share it with somebody. That person goes out and he learns that halacha, you didn't do nothing. All you did with the click of a button, you just got yourself all mabah. You didn't do anything yet. And that person sent it to somebody else, or he educates his children. Rabotai, you're getting mitzvot and stuff that you didn't do. How many shahakos can you say in one day? How many? If I'm sitting all here all day, how many? One shahakol, that's it. But if I taught a person how to say the bracha of shahakol, and that person taught another person, and that person taught another person, say 1,000 people eventually learned that the bracha of shahakol because we began that trend. Rabotai, so it's not one shahakol that you said in the day. You said 1,000 shahakos even though you really said only one. It's like Rabotai investing. You put your money and you allow it to grow. Lahavdal el lahavdal. I don't want to compare the two. But to get a better understanding, this is how it works. Same thing with Torah. When somebody sends you something that you are interested in, and you send it to somebody else, and they listen to it, because Rabotai, because they're listening, you're banking in. That's the investment in Olam Haba. In any event, Rabotai, though, again, I want to say a very, very big thank you to DJ Abraham for doing this playlist. I know it requires a lot of time, a lot of effort, Rabotai. It's not so simple. Sometimes he has to go ahead and he has to edit, and I've seen him do it. So I want to one more time tell him very, very, very big thank you for being able to do this. I am still working on Rabotai. I'm still working on 2 more classes, which I really want to throw in. I'm just trying to find the time in the day, because remember, I also have to give Gemara classes outside of this. So I'm trying to, Be'ezrat Hashem B'lined, I want to start doing Masechet Berachot. It's not going to be no Daf Yomi style, no Amud Yomi. It's going to be Gemara with Rashi. People that want to start to learn, they can actually learn Gemara with Rashi. They can go back, they can review, they can define. They can actually start understanding, not just to run through the page. The difference is when you run through the page, yeah, it's learning. I'm not saying not. But when you understand it, second time around, when you come back, you'll have a better understanding. You won't need somebody else to educate you. You'll be able to do it yourself. But when you're learning just by listening and not actually learning, so as long as the rabbi is there teaching you, then you'll know. If he's not there teaching you, you'll never know how to learn. So B'lineder Rabotai, I try to do things the right way. I want to try to do the Gemara B'lineder with Rashi alone for now. Also, another thing that I do want to start again, I just need the time, is Mishnayot. Mishnayot Rabotai B'ezrat Hashem, which is very, very important. Again, a lot of work goes into preparation. But when you teach one person, or even 10 people, or even 20 people, after you finish teaching, you did the mitzvah of Talmud Torah. But that Torah gets lost. But via the media, thanks to Abraham, the DJ Abraham, thanks to him, via the media, we are able to keep that Torah, and we are able to spread that Torah not to only 10 or 20 people. We were able to spread that Torah to hundreds of people and be able to increase Hashem's glory in the world through His Torah. So, Rabotai, I know it was probably a long introduction. I had to get it out because a lot of people approach me. Where, what, how, WhatsApp, YouTube, this, that. Rabotai, we are on Biyachad, which is actually on YouTube. And go on it, Rabotai. See it, enjoy it. Share it with other people, Rabotai. Do nothing. With the click of a button, you're getting Olam Haba. Okay. We saw in Parshat Vayera, it says in Parshat Vayera, I love, right? We saw that Hashem appeared to Abraham in Elonei Mamre. When Hashem tells Avraham Avinu to go ahead and do the Akedah, to go ahead and bring his son as an altar, to bring his son on the altar, to sacrifice his son, it says over there, Vayishkem Avraham b'boker, El makom asher amasham et pnei Hashem. Says over that Avraham Avinu woke up in the morning on the place that he saw, on the place that he stood over there. Okay. Rabotai, listen to this, what Rabbi Aharon Pesach Shlita brings down. Isa Berachot, it states in Masech Berachot Daf Vav Amud Bet, that's page 6, side 2. Amar Rabbi Chelbo, Amar Rav Huna. Rabbi Chelbo said in the name of Rav Huna, Kol hakoveya makom letifilato, anybody who establishes for himself a place for davening, Elohei Avraham be'ezro, the God of Avraham is going to be at his assistance. Hashem is always going to be with him to help him. Just give me 1 second. It's a little hot in here. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Right, we said that Rav Chaim says the name of Rav Huna. Anybody who establishes, who sets a place for his prayer, we said that the God of Abraham is at his assistance. He's always going to be there to help him. Ukeshemet, when a person dies after 120, Omrim lo, they're going to say on him, Ey anav, ey chasid, mitamidav shel Avraham Avinu. Wow, how humble he was, how pious he was. He was from the students of Avraham, our forefather. Continues Rabbi Aharon Pes, and he says, Avraham Avinu min nalan de kava'a makom. And Avraham Avinu, from where do we know that he established the place? Very simple, like we read the pasuk. Like the pasuk says, Vayishkem Avraham baboker el hamakom asher amad sham. Avraham Avinu woke up in the morning to the place that he stood over there. Okay, very nice. But where does it say that he actually davened? So, continues Rabbi Aharon Pes, and he says, Ve'ein amidah ela tefillah. Whenever you see the language of amidah in a verse, it means it's an expression of prayer. Shenemar, like the pasuk says, Ve'ya'amod Pinchas v'yipalel. And Pinchas stood and he davened. What does it mean he stood? When he says that Pinchas stood and he davened, we put the words together next to each other. Ve'ya'amod over here does not mean and Pinchas stood. Over here, it means that Pinchas davened. So that's why Rabotai, whenever it says in the pasuk, Vayishkem Avraham baboker el hamakom asher amad sham, when it says in the verse that Avraham Avinu in the morning he got up to stand on that place, it doesn't mean to stand on that place, to pray on that place. So we see from over here that it says place, makom, one place. V'lechoyre, says seemingly yesh l'temoa. One can ask a question. Amay gedula ad kach? Amay gedula ad kidei kach ma'alat hakvei makom l'tefilloto shenikra anav v'chasid b'matei matbetet anvunotav v'chatzito b'zeh. Rabotai, he says you have to understand why is establishing a place for one's prayer such a great benefit, to such an extent that where you're going to go ahead and you're going to call this person a humble person, a pious person, and that Rabotai, and you label him that he has anava, he has humbleness, and he has piousness. Why? How is that possible? Besides these things, Rabotai, anybody who also sets a place for himself to daven, besides being called humble and pious, he brings over here in Od 19, Od Sham Dav Zainamud, but he says also later on over there, in Masay Berchot, on page 7, side 2, B'malat hakuvei makom l'tefilloto, the advantage, the benefit, one who establishes for himself a place to pray, it says over there, Kol hakuvei makom l'tefilloto oyivav noflim tachtav. Anybody who sets a place, a set place to daven, he says his enemies will fall under him. So it's not only this Hashem, that Hashem is at your assistance, that whatever you do, Hashem is going to be there to help you, but also he's telling you that your enemies will fall under you. And now, Rabotai, so why do we label him as he's somebody that is humble and pious? So he brings that over here in Od number 20. He says, B'Sefer Hagan Bi'er, in the book Hagan, he explained, Amay nikra anav v'chasid. Why do we call such a person somebody who's humble and somebody who is pious? So he says, Ki be'emet kashe likbo makom b'chol yom l'tefilata. Because in truth, it is very hard to establish a place where one is going to daven every single day, that same place. It's very hard. Why? Why is it hard? Why can't I just come in and daven? Very simple. Ki midei pam, because it can happen sometimes. Nichnas orech el beit haKnesset v'tofetz et makomo. Comes a guest, somebody who doesn't daven in that shul, and he takes your seat. So rather he has to say like this, Rabotai. So why do we call him somebody who's humble and pious if it's so hard for us to do it? There's really two possible ways that one is able to go ahead and try to daven in the same place every single day. The first one, he says, if he's going to go ahead and he's going to behave like the earlier generations, they would wait 1 full hour before they would even begin to daven. So therefore, what does that mean? That means they had to come to shul an hour earlier. So if davening is at 6 o'clock, they would come 5 o'clock. So therefore he says, so to this person, he's going to come early to shul. So that's what he says. If the person is going to come every single day earlier than the prescribed time of davening, so it comes out that nobody's going to be able to take his place. On the contrary, he'll be able to be there and always daven constantly. That's possibility number one. Possibility number two, he says, but if the person himself is humble, his place is between the oven. They had back then they had these type of different ovens. If he's davening basically in a place where it's not fit, on such a place, not a lot of people jump. People like to daven in an honorable place, but davening by an oven or by a refrigerator, things like that, not a lot of people want to daven there. Vishuv comes out again that a person is able to go ahead and set a place for himself to daven the Shemona Esrei prayer. So we still read that even though it's hard to do so because of the orchim, so how are you able to overgo it? Two possible ways. Either you precede the time of prayer, or either you pick a place where it's not fit to daven, meaning where people don't want to daven there because it's not proper or it's not honorable for them. So he says over here, Lechen, that's what he says like this, Rabotai. Lechen la'achar shemet. So therefore, after the person dies, Omrim, they're going to say like this. They're going to say on the person that established a place for his prayer all the days of his life, they're going to say on him either he was pious or either he was humble. Why is he pious? Or he was pious and he came early to Beit HaKnesset like the earlier Rishonim. Or he was humble. He would go and he would pick for himself a degrading place. And people don't want to go ahead and grab that place because it's not befitting them. So that's what Rabotai, according to the Sefer Hagan, he wants to explain why do we give such an advantage, why do we call a person who establishes for himself a place a chassid and an anav. So according to the Sefer Hagan, he wants to explain one way we can learn it, that he's pious. Why? Because in order to be able to daven in the same place every single day, you have to come much earlier than everyone. And why do we call him an anav? Because in order to be able to daven in the same place, you have to choose a place where it's not befitting your honor and you overgo your honor. So we see from there that you are humble. So this was according to the Sefer Hagan. So Rabotai, let's go back into the book now. So again, we're going to go back with that. He's going to try to explain now. That's according to him, but Rabbi Aaron Pestin is going to give us another way to actually understand this. So he wants, again, back to the question. Why is it such a great advantage? Why do we praise such a person that davens in the same place every single day? Why do we call him humble and why do we call him pious? What reason? Why there's no other mitzvot that can call a person humble and pious? He wants to explain it in a creative way. Not simple understanding, but he wants to elaborate, he wants to be more eloquent. So he says like this. In truth, it's very, very hard to set a place where a person davens every single day in that same place. It's very hard. Why? It's impossible that you're not going to have a guest that's going to come and going to take your place. Rather, what do you have to say? That when he comes to the shul and he sees somebody else is sitting in his place, immediately he turns from that place where he usually sits and he goes and he chooses for himself another place. In order not to embarrass and not to pain the guest, he doesn't want the guest to feel uncomfortable. He doesn't want the guest to know that that's his place that he's sitting in, and he doesn't want to make him feel comfortable, so he goes and he chooses another place. So comes Rabbi Aaron Pes and he says like this: Adam Kazeh, this type of person, Shemuchan la'azov et komo, that he's ready to abandon his place, Hakanui lo, which is acquired to him, Ve'ishitpaleh bo zman rav, which he down in it a very long time, Ve'kovei makom chadash, and he establishes a new place, Lefia mekomot hapinuim, according to what is available, B'chol pam, every single time it happens, Shadam achad mityashev al mekomot, that every single time that somebody else is sitting in his place, he's always moving like, what do you call, musical chairs. Ve'enam me'orer machloket v'riv b'shal kach, and he doesn't awaken argument because of that. Bechechra hu anav noheg b'chasidut. For sure, he says, you're forced to learn that this type of person is a humble person. This type of person is a pious person. Ve'al kach mishabechim et malato hanizgava. That's why Rabotai, the Gemara went out of its way to say in the name of Rabbi Chebu, said in the name of Rav Huna, a person who establishes for himself a place to daven, why is HaShem going to be at his help? Why are his enemies going to fall under him? Why is he called an anav? Why is he pious? One simple reason. A person that does not make machloket, he sees somebody came to his place, he gets up, he moves to the next place. Somebody came the next day at that place, he gets up, goes to the next place. He doesn't cause machloket. One who doesn't cause machloket, this is the blessings that are bestowed upon him. That's why it's fit to call such people anav and chasid. But then he also wants to explain another way, Rabotai. He says, but he says it's also possible to explain the benefit of one who goes ahead and he establishes for himself a place in the shul with one word. When we learn in the Gemara, it says, anybody who establishes for himself a place when he davens, comes Rabbi Aaron Pes and he says, I can add one word which will even go ahead and make it much better. It's not really going on the place where you're davening. He's going to say it's going on the place in your heart, and how you're davening. Why is this, Rabotai? It's possible to explain the advantage of one who goes ahead and establishes for himself a place to daven with adding only one word. How? You're going to read it like this. Kol hakovei makom letifilato belibo. Anybody who establishes a place for prayer in his heart, because in reality, Rabotai, it's very hard to have a set place, unless like if you're not going to say like the Sefer Hagan, either you're going to come there very, very early before the prescribed time of davening, or either you're going to daven in a place where nobody wants to daven. Good, that way you have no problem. But in general speaking, it's very, very hard to go ahead and make your own place, because, okay, Monday, Tuesday you're there, Shabbat you might come late, or Friday for Mincha you might come late. So you have the problem, other people are going to be sitting there. So that's what comes Rabbi Aaron Pes, and he wants to say it's possible like this. You want to learn like this. Anybody who establishes a place for his prayer in his heart. What does that mean in his heart? And that is like this. שקובע בליבו מקום של חשיבות והתלהבות, חשק ושמחה לתפילתו. You have to establish in your heart a place of giving importance enthusiasm, desire, and happiness for the prayer. Rabotai, every one of us has a time in life where we go to a party or whenever we do something, we have this excitement. From where does this excitement come? Because you love it. So in order to have this excitement, it can be on the outside, but how's it going to be in the inside? So what do? Comes Rabbi Haron Pes and he's telling us, you're making space in your heart to understand that this is important to you, that you love this makes you happy. So now once you made space in your heart, it's feelings. Automatically says, then that's how you're going to daven. That's how you're going to act. That's what he's telling over here. What does it mean? Shukoveya tifilot, excuse me. What does that mean? Anybody who establishes a place for tefillah in his heart, what does that mean? That you establish in your heart a place for giving tefillah importance. You establish in your heart a place for giving tefillah enthusiasm. You're enthusiastic about it. Make some space over there. Cheshek Rabotai, you desire it. V'simcha, you're happy about davening. One who goes ahead through this, and he makes in his heart that he's excited to daven. He wants to daven. He has simcha. Rabotai, he says, "Hahofech et hatefila lechelek kavu mehaviuto, memahuto mechayav, v'lo mitpal rak kedei litzed yedei chovato, hu ze shalav amru, anav, chasid, mitalmidav shel Avram Avinu, ubo nimru kol hamalot hamizkaru b'gemor." Rabotai, anyone is able to turn his prayer to being part of him. It's you. It's your essence. It's your life. You're not only davening to fulfill your obligation, but you're davening because it's your life, Rabotai. A person can't live without water. A person can't live without air. You need it, Rabotai. To feel it, we have to feel that we also need it. A person wants to feel that when he's speaking to HaShem, it's like you feel that HaShem is there. Rabotai, but how do we daven? Rabotai, how do we daven? Do we daven just because we want to fulfill our obligation and just run away from the shul? Or do we daven because we want to daven? We missed you, HaShem. How do we daven, Rabotai? What's the purpose why we're davening? You need something, correct? Imagine, Rabotai, a person has to go and he has to get a job. He gets ready, he gets dressed, this, that. Right? First impression, the best impression. Just to get a job, Rabotai, it's only in this world. But you come to Melech Malcham Malachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You come to him in Crocs. You come to him in shorts, in t-shirts, in all these, Rabotai. Come on, that shows you importance. People who go to, I don't want to say it, Rabotai. People who go to parties dress up better than the way they come to shuls. Rabotai, we see where our priorities are. We see what's important to us, what's not important to us. Come on, Rabotai, it can't be that to walk into a party, bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, brit milah, a wedding, we go with a tie. I'm not telling you to dress up with a tie, but don't dress up in shorts. Even though halachically is there really a problem? No, but it's not. Is it something that would you walk in like this to a president's meeting? Hacham Avai would come to your house, would you dress like that? Rabotai, we have to give some importance to our prayer, to the Beit Knesset itself. That's what comes from Aharon Pesach Shaitan. He wants to learn over here. What does it mean? What does it mean? Kol hakovea makom l'tefiloto b'libo. You make tefillah part of you. When you're davening to HaShem, you feel you're davening to HaShem. You can ask me, Rabbi, how do I do it? Rabotai, start learning books on how to daven. Understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. There's ways to do it, Rabotai. Don't ask me how to do it. Just go and do it, Rabotai. Google. Bam, bam. Go see which books. Go to Gift Room. Go to Sefer. Go to Eichler's. Rabotai, if there is the will, there's a way. Like, I forgot the person who said it. I'll tell you what Rav Chaim Igal said. If a person wants, he will be. It's only a matter of how bad do you want it. We don't want it bad. We don't know when to run away from shul. We don't know when to stop learning, Rabotai. When's Rabbi Chanan ben Akasha going to come so I can leave already? That's learning, Rabotai. Today, I'm not saying it's bad. Today you have to bring sushi. You have to bring pizza. You have to bring burgers. You have to bring... Just to bring people to learn Torah. Rabotai, how could it be when it comes to the outside world, we pay money, people pay big money, Rabotai, to wash their garbage. And they don't offer you nothing back. They only offer you hype. That's all they offer you. There's nothing there, Rabotai, nothing there. we have to try to go ahead and we have to make, Rabotai, we have to make space. We have to make space. We have to make room for HaShem in your heart. That's what Rabbi Harun Pesach is telling us. And a person like this, that's able to have enthusiasm and passion and cheshik, Rabotai, there's a better word, I don't know, cheshik, maybe desire, there's a better word for cheshik, Rabotai, I can't get it out of my mouth right now with English. A longing maybe. If you have that in your heart, Rabotai, you have that happens when you're down to HaShem, like you're saying, Baruch Atah HaShem, it's blessed you HaShem, the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Baruch Atah HaShem, Magen Abraham, the God that shields Abraham, that protects us, Rabotai. You get to Slach Lanu Avinu. What means Slach? What, you guys, you know what means Slach Lanu Avinu? Atah Chonel Adam Da'at. You know what each one means? Ha'el HaKadosh. Rabotai, we have any idea of the words that are coming out of our mouths? When you're on Atah Chonen, you should be crying, Hashem, please give me Chokhmah so I can learn. So I can learn Torah, so I can remember, I can understand. I can go in the right ways. My children can go in the right ways. Slach lanu avinu, Hashem, forgive me. And he said, Baruch atah Hashem, anu amarbel sloach. Hashem is very gracious. He forgives. Can you imagine, Rabotai, at no expense to you, He forgives you. Rafa'enu to heal you. Goel Israel to bring you, Goel Israel to bring the redemption. Rabotai, every single prayer, every single bracha in the prayer is another world. Is another world. How do we daven, Rabotai? Bam! Get back on our phone. During Chazar Shas, wait on our phone. Look. Rabotai, busha v'cherpa. That is something that is unacceptable. Take a book. Learn. Take a book. Why be on your phone? Why be on your phone? Anyway, in any event, Rabotai, that's what Rabbi Aharon Pesach is telling us. Anybody who's able to make room in his heart for giving importance and excitement and enthusiasm and longing and desire and happiness for the prayer, that when he's down, it becomes part of him. It's his life. He's not just doing it just to fulfill his obligation. And this type of person, he says, when he dies, you're going to stand to such a person, he's an anav, he's humble. He's a chassid, he's pious. He's from the students of Avraham Avinu. And such a person, we're going to tell you all the advantages that Hashem is always going to be with him. That's how you can also understand this Gemara. Because Rabotai, to really have a set place is not so easy. If you could have a set place, and plus have this, to have that enthusiasm, that excitement, that longing, that attachment to HaKadosh Baruch Hu when you're davening, wow, how great would that be, Rabotai? But that's what the Rabbi Aharon Pesach Shlitan wants to tell us over here, that a person, you can understand this, when the memory, the statement what Chazal tell us, Kol HaKoy Makom L'Tefilato, you could even learn it like the way Rabbi Aharon Pesach says. You have to make space, establish a space for tefillah in your heart. Make tefillah part of you, not something that's outside of you and that's it. He says the support for this explanation, Medivra Pasuk in Bereshit Yuchet Lamed Gimel. He says over there, Vayelech Hashem kasher kilal ledeber el Avraham, v'Avraham shav limukomo. He says that when Hashem finished speaking to Avraham, and Avraham returned to his place, Dahainu, which means to say, Shela'achar she'Hashem lo kibel et bakashat Avraham v'tivloto al Hashem. When Hashem, he didn't accept Abraham's prayer that he was praying on the Rishaim, on the evil people, Shav Avraham limkomo harishon la'asok b'tefillah. Abraham went back to his original place, to the first place where he davened, to continue davening. Daharei darshu chazal et hamakom, because we know what does it mean hamakom. Vayishkem Avraham baboker el hamakom, and Avraham Avinu woke up in the morning to the place. What do you mean el hamakom? What's that? Kemoreh she'amad b'tefillah, comes to teach Rabotai that he stood in davening. So we see from over here, Rabotai, what does it mean makom, Rabotai? How do you learn makom? Makom can be learned two ways. Makom can be learned a place where you establish and daven, and makom can also be a person's making a place in one's heart. V'im ken, if so, Afa Pishi Tifilato Lo Na'anta, even though his Tefillah, Avram Avinu's Tefillah was not accepted, Shav Avraham Lemakom Tifilato. Avram Avinu went back to the place of his Tefillah, V'davakba, and he was attached to it. Why? Ki ha'ita Tefillah kivu'ah bilibo. Because the prayer was established in his heart, V'chelik bilti nifrad mehaviyoto. Rabotai, it wasn't something which was outside of Avram Avinu. Why did Avram Avinu go back to the place to daven? Because it was part of him. It's not something that you could, okay, I did it and it's gone. It's always with you, Rabotai. You're always speaking with HaShem. Therefore, Amru Chazal, our rabbis of blessed memory, said, Shakoveya makom letifilato. When a person goes ahead and establishes a place for prayer, Achen nechshav mitalmidav shel Avram Avinu. Yes, Rabotai, he's going to be a student of Avram Avinu. V'hi ratzon sheyechelkenu imahem. May be Hashem's will that our portion should be with those, Rabotai. If we want to be a student of Avram Avinu, we have to behave like, we have to daven, better yet, Rabotai. We have to daven like Avram Avinu davened. With cheshik, Rabotai. With desire, with enthusiasm, with simcha. Tefillah shouldn't be something which is outside of you. Only when you come to it. No, Rabotai, Tefillah should always be part of you. Rabotai, I know certain people. It's nuts. I know certain people that they can't, like, whatever, you tell them close the book, now go do something, whatever it is. They can't be somewhere else without thinking when they're going to get back to learn Torah. They can't. It's impossible. They can't come back and just, they want to be, again, with Hashem's Torah. They want to be one with Hashem. They can't. They close the book. You ask them, they don't get for nothing about Torah. That's the same thing with Rabbi Aaron Pesach's son with what was with Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu, Tefillah was part of him. When you finish Shacharit, you already want to have a longing. When are you going to be able to daven Mincha? When you finish Mincha, you want to have a longing. When am I going to come back and I'm going to be able to also daven Aravit? Now, I'm not telling you cannot speak in between them. You can. But Rabotai, this is a prayer between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a 19 prayer. It's technically 18, but there's even 19 blessings. But you're there, you're standing, you're already doing it. Why do we do it by rote? Why do we do it out of a habit? Why don't we do it, Rabotai, with simcha? You know, on the contrary, oh, 1 second, let me see something. Here. Rabotai, in Siman Hey, in Halacha Aleph, the Sefer Chasidim, in Siman Menvav brings down, he goes on speaking about it when you bless on a fruit or whenever you're doing any mitzvah that's very fluent in your mouth, you want to have a kavanah for HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the great chesed that he did with you. You have to be able to open your mouth, to be able to drink, to be able to go to the bathroom. Rabotai, we take our blessings for granted. We bless like this, no kavanah. We down like nothing. We bam, 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 bam. Again, if you ever went to yeshiva, if you were ever in a yeshiva environment, you'll see when you down, you're down. A lot of people go to Ummah, for example. They come back different human beings. You know why? Because Rabotai, they feel davening. It's not just, you don't go just there to daven, just to feel. You go there to daven. You go there to ask for something. You could bring that over here, Rabotai. You could have that every single day in every one of your tefillot. Comes the Sefer Chasim, and this is what I want to show you. He says over like this in Mishnah Berurah Aleph. V'lo yaseh ke'adam ha'oseh davar b'minhag u'motzi dvarim mipiv b'lo higyon halev. He shouldn't do like a person who does something like it's a custom, and he's just taking things out of his mouth without any understanding, without any excitement, without any heart given into the berachot. Rabotai, the Sefer Chasidim is not speaking about Shemona Esrei. The Sefer Chasidim are not speaking about saying Shahako, saying Asher Yatar, saying Lahanich Tefillin. Ve'adavar zecha ra'av Hashem b'amo, and this Hashem got angry with the Jewish people. Ve'shalach lanu b'yad Yishai v'amar, he sent through us to the prophet Yeshaya, and he said, Ya'an ki nigash ha'am hazeh b'pivu b'safta kibuduni v'libo richag mimeni. He says, since, the reason why Hashem was upset with the Jewish people, because he says, since this nation approached me with their lips and their tongue, with their mouth and their lips, they honor me, but their heart is very far from me. That's why Hashem gets angry. Rabotai, if this is only by berachot, how much more so by such a holy, the loftiest prayer that we have is Shemona Esrei. How much more so over there that if a person goes ahead and he davens Shemona Esrei without any kavanah, you can tell me, Rabbi, I'm at least something. Do whatever you want. At least this, at least that. Get all the minimum. Get the 65 that you want. I'm not speaking about getting 65. I'm speaking about Rabotai, what Chazal tell us, what the Halacha requires, what the Rishonim told us. Not what people you hear today just to make you feel good tell you. I'm not speaking about that, Rabotai. I'm speaking about what it says over here. Now, if this is by the berachot of fruit and shahakol and tefillin or tzitzit or lulav, that this is how Hashem is angry, 80, which is technically 19 blessings that you're saying in Shemona Esrei, and your mind is not there, and you just stop doing it without any understanding, without any feeling. Rabotai, you think Hashem is happy with you? You think Hashem is going to say, all right, you did a good job. So you thought you came, you made it, you get a check mark. Rabotai, maybe that check mark is backwards now. We have to understand what's required of us. What does the Shulchan Aruch require of us? What does Hashem require of us? We have to do what's required of us, and that's what's comfortable for us. Now, seeing this, what does the halacha say? What does the halacha say, Rabotai? Well, maybe it was just, maybe it's hashkafa, no? Maybe it's only an outlook. Maybe it's only musar. Rabotai, Simon Tzaddik, that's 90. You know, I was thinking, how do you remember 90, right? Simon Tzaddik, at 90 years old, a person starts realizing that he wasted all of his years. And everything he did. And he starts realizing, now 90. But why not? But which halacha in 90? Which halacha in Simon 90? 19. Halacha 19, Rabotai, look what the halacha says. 19, when a person already 18, 19, the person already has to go ahead and start, which 19 is technically the beginning of 18. The person already has to start taking life seriously. You have to already start really, really davening for your wife, for your children, for business. That's the Siman. Siman 90, Halacha 19. Rabotai, Halacha in the Shulchan Aruch says, Yigba makom l'tifilato. A person has to set a set place for his prayer. Shelo yishanehu im lo l'torach. You shouldn't change that place unless there is a need. Like Rabbi Aharon Pesach brought down, if somebody sits there, don't embarrass him, let him be. Ve'en dai b'ma shikba lo bet ha'knesset l'palel. It's not enough that you go ahead and you set for yourself a shul that you daven in. Ela gam b'bet ha'knesset shekavu ba tzarich sheyeh lo makom kavu. Even in the Beit Knesset that you chose, Rabotai, that you're going to daven, you also have to go ahead and you have to have a set place in the Beit Knesset where you're going to daven. The Mishnah Berurah in Siv Katan Samach, he says, what is it? What is the radius? So he says, Makom Kavua, V'toch Dal Lamot Chashuv Makom Echad Di Iv Shal Tzamtzem. Rabotai, if a person made for himself, I don't know, he wants to daven Shemona Esrei right over here, right? He wants to daven his prayer right over here. So the Mishnah Berurah is telling us in Siv Katan Samach, in which opinion we see Sharatzion and Siv Katan Memtet, that he brings down the name of the Magen Avraham. A person makes himself over here a set place. The Mishnah Berurah is telling you the name of the Magen Avraham. When the Shulchan Aruch tells you have to make for yourself an established place, he's telling you it means an established place, wherever that place is, within 4 amot radius, meaning from 6 to 8 feet. So basically a person could make his place that he's going to sit over here and he's going to daven. So one day someone's going to take over his place. Not a problem. Don't go over all the way to the other side of the room. Daven over here. Somebody took your place over here also. Daven over here. And so somebody took this place. Daven in the back. And so on and so forth, Rabotai. A person has to know that within the 4 amot radius, you are always being able to go ahead and daven in the place that you established. So you shouldn't feel bad. You shouldn't even fight. Comes Rabotai Rabbi Dahan in Ot Yudaled in Amudei Hora'ah. He says, what does it mean? We've been saying it the whole time, but he says, what does it mean? You have to establish a place for your prayer. What's considered to be prayer? V'ikar kiviyut bakom l'tefillah haynu l'tefillah shomna esrei. B'yan Ishchai, Parsha Miketz, Halacha Dal, Yakud Yosef, Halacha Chavchet. The main establishment, the main place that we want you to set for your prayer, whenever we use language of your prayer, it means Shomna Esrei. It means the 18, the 18 prayer blessing, the silent Amidah. So we see from the Shulchan Aruch, Rabotai, that it's not only Midat Chasidut, it's a real thing to be able to go ahead and try to establish for yourself a place where you daven. Now we saw a few ways that you can do it. Either you come early, either you're going to daven in a place where it's not befitting. According to the Mishabur, we saw in the name of the Magen Avraham something even more beautiful. In the 4 amot radius, that's also considered to be your place. Rabotai, and according to Rabbi Aharon Pessin, since it's so hard to always establish a place, he said the real place over there it's in the heart. When a person makes place for tefillah in the heart, that he longs for tefillah, passion for tefillah, he's happy to daven, he's not doing it just to fulfill his obligation. And these type of people, Rabotai, we say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to assist them, his enemies are going to fall underneath him. When he dies, he's going to be called a pious person, a humble person, and they're going to say on him that he was from the students of Avram Avinu. But with this here, Rabotai, on the other end, what the Sefer Chassidim brought down in Simon, hey, in Halacha Aleph, in the Mishnah Berurah Sifkat Aleph, he says over there clearly, Rabotai, but if a person does like Anshe Milmuda, if we do it by rote, Hashem is not happy with us. Hashem is very, very disappointed. Hashem told Yeshaya, tell them, with their lips and mouth, they honor me, but their heart is far from me. Rabotai, let's try to take our lips and our mouth and combine it with our heart to make it one, so we will be able to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and bring Mashiach b'mher b'yameinu. Amen. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless each and every one of you, Rabotai, that each and every one of you should have the zechut to be able to learn Torah, live Torah, practice Torah, see nachal from your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, till end of the generation, Rabotai, that each and every one of them should only go in the ways of Torah, be'ezrat Hashem.